Let's form one large circle without the moment, just standing without holding hands. And what we want to do is take a breath up through the feet, all the way through the whole body, up through the top of the head, and then as we exhale, down through the crown, all feeling your whole body in like taking on a garment of light, of empowerment. So as we breathe in through the soles of our feet up through our whole body, we're going to breathe in the first half of the Sufi invocation toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being. Nice slow breath up through the feet, and then as we breathe down, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance, feeling this connection with us, drawing that down into the aura of our body. We'll do this for a little while. Now let's take hands and extend this breath of coming into oneness with the circle of people that we are connected with right here in this space, allowing our sense of connection to be horizontal as well as vertical. And gradually feeling this expand to all our connections in the great web of life. And let's say the invocation together. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance. Okay, again, refreshing that intention, taking a step in and saying it again. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance. Once more. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance. And the Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's form one large circle again. Let's see if we can or make this ellipse or oval work in the room. It may work for this next practice. I want to do a partnership practice using the two poles of Ya Rahman and Ya Rahim as sun and moon. And Tawaba, if you'll, this is something Murshid like to do and something I like to put into the atmosphere. Here's the way we'll do it. We'll establish, we may do this in two circles, but we'll establish who starts off as the sun and who starts off as the moon. So I'll be the sun, I'll say Ya Rahman, and she'll respond Ya Rahim. And then we'll do that a couple of times going this way, and then we'll reverse the polarities going the other way, and then we will come into a sense of a oneness beyond, or combining sun and moon, or just meeting in the oneness. That is right here in our breath, in our atmosphere. So, sun, moon, Rahman, Rahim. Here we go. Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahim,
Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahim,
Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. That's it. What I have in mind now is we're going to do some practices with Jemal and Jelal using the left nostril and the right nostril. And to do this, this is kind of prefiguring one of the practices that I'm going to, that we'll be doing for the next month. So while I'm giving this instruction, I mean, some of you may want to sit, rest your legs, because it's not a very long instruction, but I think we'll do the breathing part of it before we get up to do the walking or aklakala part of it. So if you just make yourself comfortable, In the teachings we're studying, the left nostril is connected with Jemal, or receptivity, responsiveness, the moon quality, and the right nostril is connected with Jelal, the power and expressiveness, and the sun quality. And when Murshid Sam did develop the astrological yoga, for example, these qualities are definitely a part of the whole expression of it, and yet, for example, if you were to do the breath in through the left nostril and out through the left nostril, in that it would be a moon combined with Venus, which are two qualities that are certainly responsive and Jemal, but they have a kind of a psychic element to them. And one of the things that we're learning as we're exploring this mystery of the breath and using it as the focus really for the whole of the transmission of what the Sufi teachings are. It's not like, okay, we're just going to do the breath and we're going to walk down this narrow road. We're using it as a connectivity to all of the practices. And I haven't ever really taught this way before, but I think that's the way we generally teach in a certain sense. But this is kind of different, and it's bringing out some ways for me. But what I want to say is that in this next practice that we're going to do, we're going to combine just the pure, we're not going to take any of the psychic element of it. You don't have to try and be like the goddesses or gods that were represented by the planets, which is what in the ancient religion of Persia, for example, that's where it came from, this whole, one of the places in the West certainly where the reverence for that aspect of deity came in. We're just going to take it as in Akhlaq Allah form. Once we get the breath in the nostril, we'll start with the left. And the practice I'm going to give you is basically to breathe in a long, refined breath through the left nostril and out through the left nostril. And to start off doing it by manipulating, by closing your right nostril. So how about just practice taking the long breath in, refined breath in, and out through the left nostril. Feel it turn over at both ends. And after we do this for a minute, then I'm going to say to release your finger and see if you can't continue to breathe in through and out through the left nostril without manipulating, closing the right nostril. Remember to let it become long and refined, relax into it. Now, seeing if you can do this, just directing your breath in through the left nostril. And out. just continuing to breathe in this way and feeling the quality of the breath, not trying to impose a quality on it, just feeling what you feel as you breathe this way. Let's clear the center of the floor and contract the space enough so that at least one person at a time can get up and move freely, expressing their breath in this condition, feeling the presence of God moving with them. Continuing the breath in the left nostril. And then, I'll be the first to get up and show that it's possible in at least some way. First, just try to move with the breath in this condition. And then feeling presence within you to be free and to feel God's presence, beauty's presence. No compulsion in Sufism, but invitation. Well, I know a few people are still in line to use the facilities, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of, because my thought was that we would start meditatively here. So just to give you a sense of where we are going, and you can start to settle in to the meditation. The meditation is the basic meditation we've been doing, which is to establish the rhythm of the breath, to then allow it to become very natural and naturally extend into a long, refined rhythm, which it will do as you focus on it, bring your heart's awareness to it, your interest to it, quicken that, and then become aware as you are resting in this rhythm of the breath, of the magnetism of the breath, and to feel the prana accumulating in the vehicle of your body, beginning to enliven you, the all-pervading life in space that is the current that is carried as we breathe in and out, and to feel that magnetism in the heart, and to consciously to take the rhythm to take the thought of the beloved with the breath. Taking taking what it is that you want toward the one in the rhythm of your breath, feeling that presence, engaging in all the feeling that comes up in the heart, and finding it all transmuted into love, and love of the beloved, and oneness in that, and flowing in that. And we'll do that practice for about 10 minutes now. So again, settling into the breath in this way. Please join us. We're just doing the meditation that we are assigned in this class to do every day. We're just doing the meditation we're assigned to do every day, the rhythm and the magnetism and the heart and the love and the connection there. just moves right along. I mean, I'm really pleased with the stream of process that we are in. It's affected me in my practice and in my everyday life, which is even more important. You know, to be able to consciously apply these teachings is meaningful. It changes a lot of things. And I'm the focus that I'm trying to offer here is really to use the lens of the teachings on breath as a way of opening up all the teachings. You know, the teachings about uniting with the illuminated souls, about how to become connected in life and not isolated, how to overcome the false self and live in the real self. All of these essential things that we wish to accomplish can be approached through the lens of the breath. And so I'm not trying to go fast. I'm trying to really establish a rhythm. And the most important thing for us is to establish our own rhythm of doing these practices, reflecting on these teachings. I've really tried to overcome my own personal tendency to be too airy, which is to say to try and bring too much in, and then it can become conceptual and rather than experiential, because the mind, you know, wants to try and understand all of it, but then the goal becomes understanding it in the mind rather than establishing it in one's experience and practice. So I want to keep coming right back to the core of things and to really encourage all of us to relate to the nature of Fikr. Fikr, as Hazrat Inayat Khan explains it, is the focal point for mastery of breath and for accomplishment of all of our goals. And so I thought I would use some of the teachings as a way of reinforcing this and to come back to it, reflecting on it deeper. We'll have some time this afternoon and perhaps this evening to have more discussion and interaction about what's going on in your process and the kinds of things that have come up in your journaling. Right now, I just want to go into some of these teachings. From the lessons that we took up last month. The breath is a current which is established between all planes of man's existence. Its current runs from the life unseen to the life on the surface. So, the breath is the current established between all planes of man's existence. What are the planes of man's existence? Everything from being a rock to being God, I would say. You know, all the different spheres of vibration that encompasses, including the absolute state, which is beyond all imagining and all conception and all form, but which is the basis of all of it. It's the absolute condition of God, which is the potency for all of it. So if we can just visualize the whole of all the realms of being, and one way to visualize it is like an infinite field of like a spider web of light, a network, a lattice work of interconnected strands, endless, infinite. not only spacious but intensive in the sense of not only all inclusive but all realm, but the vertical direction also, all the realms of vibration, and to understand there's a current that connects all that, a consciousness that flows in all that. This is right in the heart of the saying of Jesus where he says, I'm the vine and ye are the branches thereof. What vine is the God-conscious human being? It is that whole field of awareness, that whole interconnection of all life. And this is why when the Sufis give inner name to the prophets, they call Jesus the breath of God, the soul of God, Ruh Allah. Because to have the consciousness of being that current which connects all of these apparently different realms of existence in a oneness. Just to feel that. As Murshid Sam says, the connection between breath and prana, energy, life force, essence, is like the connection between iron and magnetism. The breath, as we know it, the physical coming in and out, that is just where we have a lever, where we have a means of introducing our own awareness as a vehicle of focus, of attunement. So the breath is affected by everything. So we want to bring things into the breath to affect it in a way that purifies the breath, that takes all the breath will tend to bring our awareness into, to accumulate everything our awareness has been reflecting on. And so such an important part of meditation and is this what Murshid Sam calls the pitch of the heart, raising the pitch of the heart. In other words, we need to bring a kind of heartful attention to it, a caring, an interest, a motivation that enlivens the heart. Otherwise, we're just doing practices in a way that is somewhat disengaged from our feeling and from our purpose and from and it has an effect, but the effect is way muted by the lack of the pitch of the heart being raised. Again, taking another few phrases from the lessons we've been reflecting on for our consideration. Rhythm, the rhythm in Fikr. Rhythm is the nature of motion, and motion is the nature of life. Life is not possible without motion, and motion is not possible without rhythm. It is the rhythmic motion which keeps the whole universe going. And the same motion is the hidden secret of our life, as we are a miniature universe within ourselves. Our breath is both the cause and effect of this rhythmic motion. Now there's a lot here, a lot of very practical advice for us to establish a rhythm. Inhaling and exhaling is just like the pendulum of the clock. When it is regular, the clock goes on regularly. When slow, the clock goes slow. When quick, the clock goes fast. So it is with us. When our breath is rhythmic, all things go well. The mechanism of the body, the working of our mind, and the work of our feelings are all normal. Therefore, all we think, speak, and do is normal and right. When the rhythm of our breath is irregular, all illness comes, thoughts wander, feelings are upset, and our life becomes full of confusion. All we feel, speak, and do has a bad, in other words, a wrong effect upon ourselves and others. Therefore, by Fikr, the Sufi sets their breath to the proper rhythm. And when it becomes a habit, by a practice done every day, the Sufi's whole life becomes orderly and regular because the rhythm in time becomes a habit of the breath. And while awake or asleep, the breath goes on rhythmically, keeping all the pulsations in rhythm, on which the health entirely depends. The rhythm so produced by the breath keeps the thoughts in order, the will powerful, the memory in order, the feelings normal, and thereby all one's affairs in life come into a perfect and proper order. Well, who could argue with all your feelings and everything in life coming into a perfect and proper order just by such a simple thing as beginning to establish a rhythm in the breath? And you know, one of the things I've noticed in terms of, our ongoing instruction, which is to check into the breath throughout the day, and to know, in the midst of different activities, and to notice the condition, or to have a kind of an inner light go on when you notice that the breath is in an irregular condition, so that you can connect immediately with what it was that triggered that, whatever inner stress or tension or situation triggered the irregularity in the breath, the holding of the breath, the establishment of an erratic rhythm. And as soon as you notice it, to check in to the, to what's that telling you about your situation, and then to quickly or almost immediately establish a rhythm, right with wherever the breath is at that time. You say, okay, I'm going to bring it into a rhythm. I'm going to take the rhythm that's most present, or most that I feel is most available in the space, and I'm going to establish that rhythm. I noticed, one of the first things I put into my journal was that I noticed that when I found in the course of everyday life my rhythm becoming erratic and me holding the breath, I could always track some stress, maybe in a driving situation, where, one has gotten, one thing, something arises that puts one in stress or some sort of thing, and then, even, washing dishes to say, okay, am I getting all the stuff right? Just that kind of thing of worrying a little bit about what you're doing and how does it affect your breath? All of a sudden, I'm saying, okay, I know this is not a stressful activity, washing dishes, so I'm going to practice. I'm really going to make myself very conscious of the breath being more important than anything in this moment. The rhythm of the breath, the sweetness of the breath, the life force in the breath, what the breath is taking in, and that's definitely made some more harmony in my own experience. Again, in the same vein, from this one, from the materials I'm giving you for this next month, which are even fewer in number because I don't think we've fully absorbed the ones that we got the first month, and I don't want to just go by them because that's like saying it's okay to just be intellectual about this. I really want us to get into the nature of Jelal and Jemal and Kamal, to notice the rhythm of the breath in different situations, to learn from it, and to see the effect of establishing this kind of rhythmical breath practice in our meditation every day. Again, from the teachings, the Gita, Suppository Night, Canon, Ryazat, Esotericism, the attainment of external objects by Fikr. The breath is a current which can be attached to anything or being, near or distant, if one only knew how to attach it. And those who are masters of the breath can attract all things in life. Okay, now that is a gigantic assertion, which I don't feel that Hazrat Inayat Khan would make unless he was certain about it. One takes a certain confidence from one's teachers, and then one doesn't have to worry so much about walking down that road. It just kind of allows one to say, okay, I'm taking this, even if provisionally, as true, so that I can give the weight of that as a truth, the importance that it should have in terms of my own practice and my own ongoing development. So when it says this, that the breath is a current that can be attached to anything or being near or distant, the question becomes, okay, how do you do this? How do you do this action of connecting the breath? What is it in the breath that allows us to experience the breath as a connecting a vehicle? And one of the things that is within it is our awareness. The breath, if we quicken our intention, that's why I gave this practice Ya Rakib as a way of focusing, because what it means is the concentrated loving attention of the heart. That's the secret of concentration, is to bring a loving interest into focus. Because if we're not, it's easy for us to bring our awareness into focus when we really care about something. When it's totally important to us, and what's really important to us. Just reflect for a moment on some outer thing in your life that you would really like, that's really important to you to accomplish. And let the importance of it not be a worry, but a heart interest, a heartful, awakened interest in that object of attainment. And then, having gotten clear on that, it might take you 30 seconds or so to get clear on that, then connect your breath with it. Feel that focus of attainment and breathe with that in your heart, in your awareness. Let your breath touch it and draw it toward you without any effort. Hazrat Inayat Khan goes on to say, in this lesson on the attainment of external objects by Fikr, Mahadeva, who's another name for Shiva, the great Deva, the Lord of Yogis, has said that there is nothing on the face of the earth that cannot be accomplished by the masters of the breath, but for the one who does not know its mastery, even to live a healthy life is a difficult thing. Fikr is the first lesson and the last lesson in the breath. it is the first because by learning this one learns right breathing. And it is the last because not only the world, but even heaven is attained by the help of Fikr. It is Fikr which helps concentration, and at the same time it is concentration which helps the operation of Fikr. Without Fikr, no concentration or meditation or contemplation is possible. So that's why I say it's concentration which helps Fikr, and what helps concentration is loving attention or awakening of heart and interest and engagement. Namgyal Rinpoche, a great Tibetan, he wasn't Tibetan, he was Canadian, but he was a great Zen master, or Vajrayana master, and he, when he was going through the paramis, or the paramitas of what a bodhisattva, the qualities that a bodhisattva needs to develop to become a full vehicle of the compassion of the Buddha in this realm. The first one is dana, generosity. And he said, generosity isn't just giving money or something. The greatest gift you can give is your real dedicated interest of heart. That you to give interest in life, to bring your heart's interest into the activity. So that's, by the focusing of the heart's interest in raising the pitch, then the mind doesn't wander so much because the mind, is engaged, can be held by feeling and by our true interest. So we want to bring that up and not forget it, and not just do things in a rote way, just a repetitive way without adding that consciousness, because by doing so, we're bringing concentration, the secret of concentration, into the practice. Therefore, we're enlivening and purifying the breath. Okay, now, so one of the things, I won't find the passage, but one of the things that Hazare Nayat Khan says, when you're talking about this vehicle of the rhythmical, refined, long and refined breath that becomes, the secret of breathing in the Fikr, one of the things that Hazare Nayat Khan says is there are things that purify the breath, and there are things that the breath purifies, just like the breath is the cause and the effect of everything in creation. It's like, it's being affected by everything, and it affects everything. So, in that way, we need to have an awareness of the things that work to purify the breath, to help to bring it into that natural condition where it is able to really reach all these planes, where it really is able to touch the hearts of the illuminated souls, to reach the cosmic egg, which we talked about last time, which I want to return to this time, that sense in which the voidness itself is the Divine Mother, is the egg of the Divine Mother that is attracting us, that we can feel this inner attraction from which everything is birthed. All of these qualities are developed by purifying the breath and by practicing Fikr and so on. So one of them is the elements are a vehicle for purifying the breath. So in a very simple way, I want to introduce this practice. Now I know this practice of the purification of the breath with earth, water, fire, and air has been conflated by some using this teaching of Anayat Khan into the practice of the 20 purification breaths. That's not the way I'm presenting it here, because for a variety of reasons, which I don't need to go into. It's just another way of approaching it. The way I'm presenting it here, the 20 purification breaths, I'm not going to go into. We've already talked about how we're doing those, and afterwards just feeling the all-pervading power in space, the purification of the rays of the sun, and the waves of the air. I've been doing that a lot, just stopping in the midst, when I'm out walking or when I'm out doing something, and just saying, okay, just take in the sun. Just take in this wind that is coming and the waves in the air that are blowing and allowing the clearing of impressions from the space where you're holding them in your heart mind. And then to just remember space itself in the midst of it. But here's another way of using the elements as a method of purification. Again, that's very simple. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to establish Fikr, and then in turn I'm going to introduce each one of the elements and give you a few qualities also to reflect on as you continue Fikr and engage with the awareness of that element. Again, we'll take a minute just to go in and establish an awareness of Fikr in the breath. Now, continuing with the Fikr, concentrate on the qualities of the earth, such as stability, loyalty, service, reliability, solidity. And visualize the breath spreading out on a horizontal plane as you reflect on the earth and the qualities of the earth. Just really let your breath be very receptive to and connected with the nature of earth and all its qualities. Feel the infinite horizontal plane of directionality and the sense of breath, the reflection that it takes in of the qualities of earth, loyalty, steadiness, service. Now turning your attention to water. Concentrate on the qualities of water, such as liquidity and cohesion and ease and heart feeling. And feel the downward movement of water in the breath as it affects your breath, as your awareness of how the water element manifests affects your breath. Its cohesion, its liquidity, its ease, its heartfulness, its flowing. Now concentrate on the qualities of fire, such as warmth and creativity and power and inspiration. And feel the upward movement of fire, the influence of fire on your breath as you open up to the qualities of fire, creativity, power, warmth, inspiration. Now turning our attention, our concentration on the qualities of air, such as freedom of movement, intelligence, humor. Feel the refinement, freedom, inner freedom. The movement can be any which way. The spirit moves as it lists, says the King James Version, which means the divine breath. And then, briefly, because I'm going to go into this later, and then how to use this later, we're going to concentrate on the qualities of ether, or space itself, such as the luminous container of space itself, stillness and pure potency. The luminous container of space itself, stillness and potency, the ether element, the source of all the elements. Feel that influence on the breath. Connect with that. I want to just take this into a little further. I'm going to read this one little thing, and then we're going to go into the walk of the Mother, the Divine Mother. There's always need to enter the silence above sound and find the peace which is all-inclusive. As a person enters the silence, so does the silence enter into him or her. As one unites with the universe, so does the universe manifest in you. This is true no matter what be one's path or training. Ultimately, one arrives at this destination. But this is the silence of all life, which without containing anything may be said to contain all things. The silence of all life, which without containing anything may be said to contain all things. Therefore, one is said to enter the world egg or world womb. This accounts for the teachings of the Mother of the World, or the Divine Mother, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, or Kuan Yin. It represents the stage of realization of union with the silence, and as all may so unite, all are said to have a common mother. So this is, our relationship with the silence is the relationship of the common mother of everything which is in the manifest universe. And now what we're going to do in this walk is feel it from the standpoint of the Divine Mother. And so in order to do that, we need to just take a few moments to breathe, go into the Fikr, and connect your breath and your awareness with the Mother of the World, with the world womb, the cosmic egg, the silence that is potent with all manifestation. So now having, coming from this pole of awareness, you, from the cosmic egg that you feel inside of you as the Divine Mother, and you hold everything that is and is to be in that compassionate, loving, non-reactive, integrating, fulfilling, completing embrace, which is so tranquil, comes right out of the immaculate state, all birth, this whole manifestation. So if you can feel this as Mary, from that immaculate state, bringing forth perfect love in the form of the child who becomes Ruh Allah, the very breath of God. So we're being asked to refine our breath, to bring the attention of our heart to this pitch where we can feel the mother of all right in the absolute silence, which is eternal. And being that, feel its activity, birthing, constantly, holding. So please retain your contemplation, your breath practice, but give us a little more space in the room so that people can walk and begin to, a few people at a time, walking in the connection. Through your breath, through your heart, through your focus. Come alive to the Divine Mother moving as the birther of all that is and holder of all in manifestation within the heart. Many ways to do this, but I'd like to invite a few of you to come and just to breathe in this sense of daring to represent the Divine Mother, becoming her breath, her heart. And as we continually prepare for this, we continually make the connection with this reality. It's nearer to us than we ever imagined. Continuing in the breath, in our attunement, this deep, peaceful condition of heart, of breath, connecting with the absolute silence, the eternally formless, and so this is a walk of mastery because it's, one's response to the conditions of the world, the conflict that is in the world, can be one of self-effacement and embracing all without judgment. It can also be self-effacement and holding all in a way in which you're mastering and controlling that atmosphere, bringing peace by the power of your tranquil, non-reactive spaciousness of heart. It's just a slightly different way of doing the same thing, depending on whether you are functioning in a Jelal manner or whether you're functioning in a Jemal manner. But in both cases, you have to be rooted in the Kamal, in the perfection, in that which is neither one nor the other, but transcends both and fills both. So that's staying connected with that ultimate state. And bringing it forward. So what Mershid says, the world, quoting Edna St. Vincent Millay, the world stands out on every side no wider than the heart is wide. So your heart, your world is just as big as what you care about, as what you carry in your heart. And if you look at what your heart is carrying right now, and you breathe the Fikr in and out of it where your breath is right now. When we've been doing a lot of meditative practice, a lot of prayer and devotion, thankfulness, our breath is in a condition to touch this. So coming into the breath, feeling and holding everything that is in our heart that we care about, not reacting to it, holding the whole of what it is that is there for us when we truly look in and not say, well, I ought to feel like I'm connected to the whole universe and I want to hold even the little worms in Alpha Centauri. But just what's there for you, what really comes up, and then without worrying about it or trying to shape it or doing anything but holding it and breathing in it in this way, feel how the peace shapes it, how that works through the power of and inside it becomes, it's held in a powerful way, such that it produces harmony within that sphere that you're holding. So for me, I think a good way to get into this is to connect with Murshid Sam. This was his path of mastery. You're not going to see a lot when somebody's doing this because it's non-reactive. It's but by movement, one overcomes that sense of separating out that often happens when you're sitting. But what you're doing is you're carrying with you what you have, all the conflict within that area, everything that's within that, including all the conflict. And you're carrying it with you in this place of powerful containment and peacefully seated. And you're, in this case, connecting with this teacher who's so close to us in our lineage. I can't do this alone. I need good people. Everyone brings, okay, not everyone at once, but that's good. Come ahead, please. I just want you to get a feeling for it, Why do we develop all of our inner powers? It's not enough just to want to have it all for yourself. That only takes you so far. You want to be a benefit, you want to connect, you want to somehow offer it. Power is intoxicating. If you can hold it, all this surgings of power in this container of infinite peace that is moving with your breath. You're an instrument of peace.